And when he carries it, it changes him. You can't carry the cross and stay the same. There's reason to believe that his whole family was changed because he bore the cross. And Jesus is taken to the place called Golgotha. There they take his garments, rip them off his back. The blood has cemented the cloth to his back. So they tear it off. They throw him down on the ground so that now the dirt, the blood-stained dirt of Golgotha, where many have died and their dried blood is caked in the earth. So there's no reason to think that every diseased particle, everything that could bring him illness is there, and they press him down and stretch him. His hands, those hands that had touched fevered brows and the fever disappeared. Those hands that had mingled spittle with clay and just put it on somebody's eye. And the man says, I can see, but it's not real clear. He says, let me get it one more time. He puts it on again and says, I see clearly now. Those hands that had touched that funeral bier. You remember that widow who came out with her son? Jesus and his crowd met them. One crowd shouting for joy, one crowd mourning for sadness, and all of a sudden the cacophony of sound comes together. Jesus stops all the noise. Those same hands go over and say, lady, let me take care of this. And he touches that dead boy, and he gets up. So now the two crowds are making the same noise, because the funeral has been turned into a shouting brigade, and they all sing the praises of Jesus together. Those hands, they stretch now. There's every reason to believe that the Romans had physicians to find the place. It was not, according to the American Medical Association, in the palm. I don't have a problem. It doesn't matter where they put the nail. It just matters that he died. They say it was here. They say that the physicians from the Romans would find the exact place where the median nerve was. The median nerve, when touched and traumatized, radiates a burning sensation up the arm and into the chest. And they put it there. A 5 to 7 inch square cut spike. And they beat it next to the median nerve. If it severs the median nerve, the hand will be forced into paralysis like a claw. So it could be that the hand of Jesus, the median nerve being severed, was paralyzed into a claw-like place. But they stretched him there. Then they take his feet and put them together on top of each other and pound the spike there. They go to a nerve in the feet. And then they pull that thing up and drop him. And there he is. The doctors say that hanging on that cross, insects would find the places in the back that were cut open and begin to burrow into the wounds. They would get around his eyes and burrow into his eyes. He could feel the pain of insects that had been made by his own hand, burrowing now into his own flesh, but he could not wipe them away. In fact, even when they offered him an analgesic, wine and gall, he put it away because he knew that unless he drank the dregs of suffering, he could not save Walter Pearson. And so he would not accept the painkiller because he had to save me. Now let me move quickly, because here is, I think, the worst part. There are many things said about how he died. But here's what I believe. One of the things that happened was when he was hung on the cross, legs twisted, weight on his hands, His diaphragm is pulled up. So the problem with breathing is that he can't exhale easily. So his breathing is shallow. In order to exhale, he's got to push up. In fact, some people died on the cross because they could never exhale. So they were asphyxiated. Asphyxiated by not being able to breathe. And if Jesus said anything from the cross, like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And even when he came to the very end, into thy hand I commend my spirit. And at 3 p.m, on an ugly Friday, his head fell. And the Roman guards came to break his legs to make sure he was dead. They saw that he was gone. A 6-foot spear was plunged into his side. Water and blood came out. And here's what the doctors say. It was either from hypovolemic shock, which means you don't have enough blood. Blood is too low, and your heart struggles to find enough blood to pump. Or it's some strange arrhythmia that is the heart's reaction trying to save you. So it's either that he has hypovolemic shock or exhaustion asphyxia. But the blood and the water say that it could have been some intervening instant event that caused him to die in 3 to 6 hours instead of the days that he could have stayed there, because the Jewish leaders wanted to take him down before the Sabbath came. So some physicians say that it may have been a rupture of the heart. A heart rupture that would have allowed pleural fluid from the lungs to seep into the pericardial sac, or that the heart itself produced water because of its trauma. And when that spear went in, blood and water came out, signifying that it was his heart that broke for you. If I were God and I saw my daughter, my firstborn, in an electric chair, in a gas chamber, lying on a gurney where you would put into her veins some poison that would kill her, if I had the power to save her, even if you would die, my daughter would get up. Because that's how I love her. If my son were about to be executed, even if you would die, my son would be saved. Because that's my son. But God loved you so much that God and all the holy angels put on darkness like overcoats, gathered darkness to them, and met down at the cross. So God the Father and all the holy angels, dressed in darkness, came not to take Jesus down. He had to die in my place. So God didn't come to snatch him from the cross. He just came to stand with him as he died in my place, because it was God's intent also that I died.
Thanks for watching. Join us next time for more Breath of Life with Pastor Walter L. Pearson, Jr.